right, and we are live in this thing. It's just three of us. Okay, it's cool. We streaming this thing as well. How y'all doing today, man? How y'all doing today? Kayla, appreciate you, Queen, hopping on. I know you had said that it's you've been going to sleep with the nature, so appreciate you, being able to hop in here. But we gonna get straight to the monies, man. We gonna get straight to the charts or straight to the news more so, like just kind of looking out for the week. But happy New Year to y'all, man. Happy New Year. I think that we still in the winter season, so we still getting ready for the spring. But at the end of the day, I'm definitely, excited to, be in the new year, especially to be out of December, because I'm just gonna be honest, markets were super choppy in December. Definitely provided a lot of opportunities. Still was able to take advantage of a lot of opportunities still. But definitely excited to be about the holiday, the heavy holiday time. We're not fully out the weeds yet, right? Definitely will say that there's a lot of people still traveling, back home, or whether it's for the, still kind of for the holidays or traveling back home. And what you got to understand about that, I mean, that's foreign exchange all day, right? When people travel, they got to move money. So people think that the markets slow down for the holidays, but ironically, you'll still see that movement, right? You'll still see that movement. So, right now, let me go ahead and share my screen so we can all be looking at the same stuff. Right. And let me go ahead and let's look at what's going on here. All right, bet. Okay, yo, shout out to y'all living that RV life, man. Your boy is definitely looking to get to the RV life. I ain't gonna lie. All right, bet. Well, let's go ahead and check out what Forex Factory is talking about. Today is January 1st, first market outlook of the year. First market outlook of the year. Um, this week, I mean, first and foremost, tomorrow is still a bank holiday. Just to let y'all know, in case nobody knew, or in case you were not aware, tomorrow is still a bank holiday. The chef has a bank holiday, GBP, CAD, USD, NZD, JPY. It is a bank holiday for every currency pair except for the Australian dollar and the euro, right? Australian dollar and the euro, it looks like. Okay, so definitely we'll check, take a look at those, but just be aware, don't expect heavy volatility in the market tomorrow. The day after New Year's is still considered a holiday, right? It's considered a holiday. Oh, let me go ahead and plug this in. All right, let me go ahead and plug this thing up. Boom, boom. Y'all can still hear me. Drop some sevens if y'all can hear me clearly still. Drop some sevens. Can y'all still hear me? Drop some sevens in the chat if y'all can hear me clearly. Drop some sevens if you can hear me better, right? Just let me know what's going on. But yeah, so, all right, bet. Appreciate you, Kayla. It's me and Kayla in here. All right, bet T. All right, cool. So yeah, Tuesday, we have OPEC meetings on Tuesday. Are y'all familiar with OPEC? Let me know. We got OPEC on Tuesday. Wednesday, we have chef CPI coming out on Wednesday, so we'll be getting the chef's inflation rates dropping. Now we got USD manufacturing, USD job openings. We got FOMC meeting minutes dropping this week as well. So that means we may get some interest talk, right? We might hear some interest talk, but that's going to bring a lot of volatility into the market. So I'm not going to lie to you, especially the pairs that I trade, mostly indices and US dollar. I definitely would say Wednesday through Friday is looking like where a lot of these opportunities are going to show themselves. Or when I'm going to want to pay the most attention to the market. But, with that being said, to answer your question, OPEC is let me go ahead and give you the exact acronym. It's the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, right? So essentially, all the countries that export oil have an organization together, and they're the ones who determine the price of oil. And the different, like the cost of the market. So things like that are going to affect the economy, right? Things like that, oil is one of the, something that countries spend the most money on, right? Economies spend the most money on. So oil prices heavily impact the cost of gas, the cost of deliveries, the cost of goods and services, because that's what it takes, right? So we'll be getting that. I don't know what JMMC is. Let's look up JMMC. Yeah. Well, I don't. Well, I'll look into that. It doesn't look like we're getting a definite answer right now. But when it comes to CPI is going to be the announcement for the inflation for the chef, right? So you're going to see some movement on the chef. So I'll check out USD chef. And then we do have, like we said, USD news, pretty much red folder news, 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. on Wednesday. So expecting a lot of volatility there. And then we got red folder news for the dollar on Thursday. This is going to be pre-non-farm employment, right? So for those of y'all who are not aware, all right, NFP is the first week of every single month of the year, right? NFP is what we call non-farm payroll, right? Or in other words, it's pretty much the change in the number of employed people in the industry, not including the farm, right? So pretty much whether that, like, where we see here, it says 263,000 and it's green, that shows that there are 263,000 more employed people in the market. And it's funny that I saw something today, and we have to be very careful because there's a lot of manipulation going on in the market right now, right? Because what we're seeing is that people lost their jobs because of COVID, and then people got those jobs back. And a lot of these employment rates, they're counting the regained jobs as new jobs. And that's not actually the case, right? So where you see we've had multiple months in a row of more people having jobs, right? It says that, look, April was the last time we had a negative amount of job change, right? In April, 430,000 people lost their job, right? In May, they got it right back. In June, 390,000 people got jobs, 370,000 more people, right? And this is what has happened. Literally every single month, more and more people have been able to get employed, right? So the employment rate is not going down, okay? Now, this is not good for inflation, right? For inflation to go down, which is what we're combating right now as an economy, the reason they keep raising the interest rate is because inflation we would like to lower the inflation, right? So if people are gaining jobs, that means people are going to continue to spend money in the marketplace, which is not going to lower inflation, right? So things like this is the reason that people say we're not in a recession, jobs are increasing, but that's why I just let you guys know that regained jobs don't count as new jobs. Okay, regained jobs don't count as a new job. If I fire you and I hire you back, you're not gonna call me and say, hey, I got a new job. No, you're gonna call me and say I got my job back, right? So it's the same concept. All right, that's what we're seeing. It's a lot of manipulation even in the information that's being portrayed. So it's very interesting the way things are going. And for this month, it is projected that we will have, I can't tell if this is a green projection or a red projection, but it's 200K. So we'll see what that means, whether that's green or red. But yes, so that's what we got going on this week. Mostly US dollar, all right? Mostly US dollars. So definitely excited for that, right? So let's go ahead and hit the chart. You feel me? Are you guys still on the news, or y'all can see the charts? Can y'all see the charts? Y'all still on the news? What's going on? What y'all see, man? All right. And you're always going to see me start off on a daily. Always going to start off on a daily. All right. So let's start off on a daily. Let's wipe this chart off. And we are currently looking at the dollar. I always start off looking at the dollar, of course. The dollar is the world's reserve currency. So oftentimes the dollar has a huge effect on everything else, right? Everything else. And so we can see that pretty much You know, October was the beginning of quarter 4 of the year, right? And the market moves in quarters when you're looking at it on that type of time, right? And so what I like to notice is that pretty much all quarter 4, right, you know, we pretty much dropped, right? The market has dropped since, you know, all of quarter 4, right? October 13th was the high of the dollar, and since then it literally fell for a whole quarter, right? For a whole 3 months the dollar dropped in value. Okay, now I'm going to look at the quarter before that. Okay, I'm going to look at the quarter before that, which would be October, September, August, July. So June, right? So June, boom. Look at these joints. What's good, my brother Mario, man? We thought you wasn't gonna make it, King. We thought you wasn't gonna make it, man. We thought you wasn't gonna make it, man. But all right, bet. So we can see that pretty much coming into the end of May, right? Right, coming into the end of May, or May, July, July as well, June as well, right? May, but coming into, you know, here we can see this is where the market last formed a, you know, I guess you would say low before it took, you know, before it took this high here, right? And so we had reached a high, market came here, formed a low, and then boom, you know, we went ahead and took off to the upside. Let me check some source out, right? Boom. You know, this is a high that we were holding since 2017, right? It's the beginning of the year, first Sunday of the year. You best believe I'm finna do some back testing, right? You best believe I'm finna do some back testing, right? And no, my brother, this thing started crumbling before November FOMC, right? November FOMC, that was the continuation, but this thing started dropping. Whew, right? Top of October, that thing started dropping, right? And so the high that they broke, right? These were the highs, right? Since 2016, they formed a high here. 2017 or 2020, top of March, we saw a high form here as well. Okay, so that was an important high for the dollar, and we can see that the last low that was formed before they properly broke that high was right here, May 31st. Okay, so I like to pay attention to areas like that, right? I like to pay attention to areas like that, seeing the way that the market, you know, seeing where, right, time and price is very important to me. Okay, so that is important because this is the low before we broke a very important high on a higher time frame. Okay, so when I look at that, there's a couple different ways that I like to pay attention to this. Okay, the first way that I like to pay attention to this is that you can see, especially on the weekly time frame, it's a lot clearer on the weekly time frame, right? You can see that this is that buy I told you guys about, and what do you see before that buy, right? Well, I'll go ahead and tell you, right? What you see before that buy is a sell-off, right? An institutional sell-off, mind you, okay? Whenever we see these bigger candles, right? Whenever we see big candles following a small candle, we call that an engulfing candle. And engulfing candles, they show signs of institutional movement, institutional pressure, right? The people who's moving the big money through these markets, okay? So if we have a massive institutional move that happened these 2 weeks here where they came in and pushed us to here, like, what does that show me? Well, that shows me, the way that I trade at least, right? The way that I trade, that shows me that this is where the institution, the market makers, the banks, the people who move the markets, whatever way you want to look at it, right? This is where the markets were manipulated to give a lower buying price. All right. So I like to pay attention to this area right here. So I'm going to put a line on top of that right there. Okay. You're confusing yourself. Okay. So all right, let's start with an institutional candle. I just told you guys this is an institutional candle. You feel me? So this is an engulfing candle. All right. So that's an institutional candle. The bigger candle after a smaller one, right? A candle that eats the last candle, right, is an engulfing. Okay. Now, with that being said, you can see that boom, they went ahead and went lower here. Let me go ahead and help you out. I turned off the camera. You're good. Right? So you can see here, right, that was the engulfing candle. All right. So what does that mean? The open on a sell candle, the open is the top of the candle, right? So the way I look at it, this is the entry that they would have taken on those sells. Okay. So mitigation is the process of the market coming back, or of anything coming back to acquire its losses. That's what mitigation is, right? If I tell you, can you mitigate your losses? Mitigation means that you have $2,000 that you just lost in the market, and then you made $2,000 today. That's called mitigating your risk. Do you get what I'm saying? Answer me in the chat, right? Mitigating your risk means that you're making up for losses, right? It means taking back your losses, covering your losses. You get what I'm saying? So that's what mitigation is. Okay. Now, when the market makers, let me mute, somebody's unmuted here, right? So when we see, okay, that there was an institutional candle going down, sell entries of institutions, but then the market went up. Okay. So that would show that these beautiful sell entries that were taken here, as we can see, right? Market dipped and then it took off. Okay. When it took off, these entries are in drawdown. They're in negative. They're not using stop losses. They move the market. Why would they use stop losses? Right? So they're not using stop losses. So that means the sell, and I'll put a word here so that it makes more sense, right? The sells that they took right here, they took sells right here. Right? So that means that when the market's all the way up here, if you took a sell right here and you look at your chart and the market's up here, you're what? You're in negative, correct? You with me, Mario? You negative. Drop some sevens in the chat if you with me, right? If you take I'm sorry?
Yeah, so I see what you're saying. So I guess my question would be, you talking about a mitigation candle, like, that's pretty much where reversal happens when people are expecting it to drop, right? You reach a previous old high. Even the market makers, they expected it to drop, but they kept pushing. So they have to come back and get their liquidity before we can continue higher. Correct?
Not necessarily, but you can, if that's how you're gonna understand it, then you can understand it that way. What I'm saying, and that's why I was asking you to understand it in the steps. You feel me? That's why I was saying, so they would take a sell here. If they take a sell here, why would they do that? So that they can get better buy entries at a lower price. Do you get what I'm saying, Mario?
Yeah, I got you. I see what you're saying.
Right? Them like the people who move the markets, them taking sells here, right? Though the banks, the institutions, them going ahead and taking sells here, that's gonna cause the market to move lower, right? They have enough capital to do that, right? When you move billions of dollars in the market, you take a sell, the whole market gonna take that sell off. Okay. And so this mitigation is when they come back for their own entry. It doesn't mean that they were wrong. They took the sell to move the market lower. That's why they did that, right? So the mitigation is that process when the market goes ahead and comes back to an area like this, right? Mitigation, an institutional candle, and then mitigation is what happens. So I wouldn't say necessarily there's a mitigation candle, but there's a candle that mitigation happens at, right? So that's the way that I would explain that. But you can see, based off of that whole explanation that I just gave, you can see that the markets are actually, you can see where we've pulled back, right? So we can see that boom quarter, second quarter of 2022, we were able to pretty much go ahead. You can find them on every time frame, bro. The market is fractal. You feel me? This happened. Everything that you're looking at happens on every single time frame. Okay, so that's that. All right, now as you can see right now, in 2022 May, that's when that sell-off happened, right? In the third quarter, from pretty much June through October, we can see that they went ahead and ate off of that, right? Off of that lower price. Okay, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful price to buy in, right? They ate off of that lower price. Okay, boom. And then once we got to the fourth quarter, they used that opportunity, right? In the fourth quarter, they used that opportunity to go ahead and mitigate their losses, right? they took big wins on this buy up, but this little sell, it's in drawdown, and they went ahead and came right back into that area, right? And that's where we are starting off the first quarter of 2023. Okay, now I find that very convenient, right? I find it very convenient that it's the first quarter of the year. Interest rates have just been raised. The US dollar really should be going up, right, any moment now. All right, and it just so happens that after 2 quarters of moving away from this beautiful institutional sell-off, we're right back in this same area. Okay, so that's what I like to call coming back for the homies, right? They came back to pick up the homies. That's what I call mitigation. It's when they come back to pick up the homies. All right, so the funny thing is that, yes, that means for me, we're in an area where I'm looking to see the dollar reverse, right? I'm looking to see reversals on the dollar, looking to see her go ahead and turn around in this area, right? Now that means that does not mean, oh, I'm looking for buys all week, because the buys could not happen until February, right? That doesn't mean that means what I'm looking for, but it means, that doesn't mean that I'm just gonna start taking buys, but it means that I'm being aware for shifts in price action to cause a reversal right here. And as you can see, there was a lot of, just this is just manipulated movement, right? Institutional candle down, right? And then you can see the market has started to consolidate, right? Started to slow down, right? Start to come to a little bit of a halt in this. All right, so that's my overall kind of perspective as to where we are at on the US dollar, right? Is that this first quarter I'm looking to see, and the last thing that I'll go ahead and do on this higher time frame is that I'll throw my fib. From 2 places, right? From the low to the high from May, right? From the low to the high of May, okay? Just so I can see how deeply we've came into that. Almost a full retracement on that. And I'm going to throw my fib on the whole year, right? I'm going to throw my fib on the whole year, okay? And boom, so what's that? January. All right, January right here. So this was the low of 2022. This was the high of 2022, right? And we can see that we did, when I use my fibs, I kind of use them more so in a way of like, where are discount prices and where are premium prices? So where are the best deals, right, for a buyer or a seller? Okay, and if you look at a year, right, today is January 1st, so from last January to this January, I look at the price over the course of a year. Okay, if you guys, and I need a little bit of interaction on this part right here, right? If you guys were looking to buy something for the whole 2022 and the price kept going up, and it was now at a 50% discount, would you be more likely to buy it? Would you be likely to buy it? Just curious. If you were looking to buy anything, and we're not just talking about stocks, as none of that, anything you were looking to buy, and all year long you could not find it for the price you wanted it, and then finally, after a year, it's 50% off. You're buying the mess out of it, right? So as it makes sense, you can see, right? January, this was all of January. We can see that what happened when price reached equilibrium, aka the 50% discount. What happened, right? Literally, look, the institutional candle gapped, right? Manipulation gapped down straight to the 50%. And what happened? Immediately reject. Why? Because somebody like Tesla saw that thing hit the 50% and was like, oh, I'm finna buy that thing on discount. Somebody like QB, somebody like my boy Kai, right? Somebody like me, we like, yo, 50% off, I'm buying. So what you're doing when you're looking at these markets, you got to understand you're literally reading human emotion. You're literally, like, somebody could not be even looking at this chart, and this is the type of stuff that happens in the world, right? This means that in September, gas prices was OD, okay? Food was OD, like everything was OD, right? But then now all of a sudden everything's lower. Y'all notice people they stop complaining as much about gas. You notice that. You notice people not complaining as much about the price of the groceries. They complaining, but not like they was complaining in September. You know, people grateful right now. They ready to go spend their money. The credit card debt is at an all-time high right now. Right? People was willing to spend. Why? Because we had reached a 50% discount. Now for me, all right, the place that I like to target, okay, is the 62, I think 60 to 70% is a crazy discount. I don't care how much of a frugal person you are. If something is 60, 70% off, you really, some of y'all didn't even answer in the chat for 50%. So you telling me you was looking to buy something all of 2020 and it's 60, 70% off, you're not gonna, you're a tough cookie. I don't know what to tell you. You're a tough cookie. I don't know what to tell you. So with that being said, I just marked off the 60 to 70% of the year 2022. Right? And that's this box area right here. So what that would entail for my bias, right? My bias, okay, is I am looking, right? I do not have a firm bias yet, right? Right now, we've entered a consolidative area, a very rangeful area. I just showed you all the reasons the market should go up, but we are still in a downtrend. So before the market even consolidate, my mind is in, you have to show me. Okay, so overall, I want the dollar to go higher based off the fundamentals, based off the structure, based off everything I just showed you on a higher time frame. I expect to see the dollar go higher. Okay, however, I do know we're in a downtrend, so there's a lot of bearish momentum. So we're gonna have to start seeing those bulls come into the market before I expect for it to go ahead and turn around. Okay, so with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and get into a lower time frame and then we'll look at some pairs, right? But with that being said, there's potential that I could actually see the dollar coming just a bit lower, down into that 102, even 100 flat, right? Even 100 flat. I would say, down into that area, 100, 100.5, maybe 100.8, right? I wouldn't be surprised to see the dollar hit those areas and then we just go ballistic, okay? And that wouldn't be a long time at all. We're talking maybe the dollar, maybe they give a little higher high here and then they boom, wick to the low, and then they do something like that, right? And I don't know if y'all have learned by now, man, but I would screenshot the stuff I be saying, or just take the picture, whatever, and just use it for your own analysis. Like I said, you don't have to, trade my trade, but at the end of the day, I'm just saying, just take it. And just when you're checking out your analysis, see if you can, see what it is I'm kind of putting down. All right. So last week, it was a lot of consolidation on the dollar. I was able to eat beautifully, though, off the dollar. But what we did see happen, and what we see happening right now as well, is the dollar is still forming lows, right? So we're on the 4-hour time frame right here, and we can see that this candle, this candle from Friday, right? Yeah, this is the Friday candle. This is the now candle, right? But the very last candle of the day from Friday actually pushed down and closed below these lows. Okay, we actually closed below. So there, we still don't have that full we don't have that bullish momentum, right? Even on the hourly, right? We closed below. So guess what? I just showed you guys where I think we can get to, right? We can possibly get down to that 102 area. So am I surprised right now? No. I'm telling y'all, the reason I just spent 20 minutes with y'all, 15 minutes with y'all on the daily, and I won't have to spend that much time on the daily for the whole rest of the week. I won't have to spend that much time, because now, give me 1 second, because my laptop is dying, y'all. 1 second. Y'all getting value, man? Y'all learning something? Y'all see some setups, man? If y'all see a setup, man, don't be getting inspired and then seeing a setup and not telling nobody, man. Y'all tell us if y'all see something, all right? But so yeah, I'm not surprised at all to see a lower low here on the dollar. I just spent that time on the daily, so overall my bias is the dollar going lower. Based off that right now, overall, my bias is the dollar going higher, but as of right now, it's the dollar's going lower. I have no signs of that stopping. Okay. Now, with that being said, like I said, today, Monday, is a U.S. holiday. All right. So don't get your draws in a bunch looking for it to happen today. But I also won't say that things won't happen. Right. So now, with that being said, what I'm gonna pay attention to, all right, is that I'm gonna pay attention to a few places. Okay. I'm gonna pay attention to go back to the hourly, right? I want to, like I said, on the hourly, this is a lower low, right? This low is lower than all these lows. This low is also lower than this higher time frame low, right? So we already saw this is a lower low on a higher time frame. It's a lower low here, okay? So that means I need to see where might the market come back up and form a lower high, right? Because if I believe the market is in a downtrend, that means that the market would have to form a lower low, and then the market would have to form a lower high, and then a lower low, and then a lower high, right? That's the way the market moves, right? Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, right? And so that's what I'm looking for. Now, as you see, it's been a lot of sweeping action happening here. So will it just drop through the floor? Probably not. And so let me go ahead and see where we're going to look at, man. Let me go from the high. I'll say this was that high up there, down to this low. So I want to see, that's what I want to see this week, right? That's what I want to see this week. I'm late, but is this market disabled today for trading due to New Year's? Yeah, so that's what I was showing everybody at the beginning, is that today, let me actually go back to it for you. Yeah, so today is a holiday for the US dollar, for the chef, for the GBP, for the CAD, NZD, JPY, all of them. For all of them, it's a holiday on the 2nd as well, because New Year's was on a weekend. So because New Year's was on a weekend, the next business day is considered a holiday, right? So that's what we got going on. So I'm just like, that's all I got right now. I like to allow the market to show me what it's going to do Sunday and Monday. I'm not trying to be, Mr. Can See It All. But for right now, my eyes are to see, boom. I want to see how the market responds in this 103 area. Even like Desta was saying, 104, right? Maybe even up there. But first and foremost, I want to see how it responds at 103.79. Right. I hope you just got my answer. That was me answering your question, Bree, by the way. I hope you got that answer. But yeah, you feel me? Like I'm paying attention in this area, right inside the middle of this order block. And like I said, that premium price, right? That premium price, giving you an example, if you a seller and people buying something for 70% more than they was buying it before, you definitely ready to sell, right? You definitely ready to sell. So I'm gonna go ahead and put an alert up there at 103.7, and we'll see how the market responds when we get there, right? And when I say we'll see how the market responds, what I mean by that is, does the market push up here, in a way like this? We push up in a way like that. That's not what we're looking for. That's that's an uptrend, okay? But what we would want to see is really maybe some consolidation today, right? Maybe something like these, right? And then a sharp move up into that on Tuesday, like on Tuesday morning or something, right? And then boom, that's what we would like to see, right? Tuesday morning going into Wednesday, I want to see them pull up, into an area like this, maybe up into 104, anything like that. But if to start the week off, we push higher, that's what I'm looking for. So that come Wednesday, come Thursday, non-form payroll, they're pushing down to the other side to form the candle, right? Because that's how candles are formed, right? Candles are formed, we get the open, then you get the wick, then you get the body of the candle, and then it comes up and then it closes, right? That's a candle, right? Or for that example, that is a bar, right? But bars and candles work the same way, okay? Bars and candles work the same way. This is the open, wick, body, close, Okay, so that's kind of what I'm looking to see, right? This is the open, wick, body, close. All right. Hope y'all with me, man. Hope y'all with me. So that's the dollar. So based on that being said on the dollar, the first thing that I'm gonna take a look at outside of that is we'll head over to Euro USD real quick. Oh yeah, we sniped Euro USD beautifully. Like we said, the markets can be slow. All right, like we said, the markets can definitely be slow in December and in the holidays, but don't get it twisted, man. All right, don't get it twisted. There can definitely be opportunities. Now, I took this buy on Euro USD because I saw what I was breaking down to you guys just now, right? I saw that the dollar was continuing to break lows, right? Even though I didn't trade Euro USD during any of this, as you can see, but as we started to make that move out, right, I participated in that. Like, what the heck was that? So I had no parts in that whole thing going on. Now, it's funny because on a higher time frame, you can see that I have a sell on Euro USD, right? So I bought up into the entry that I wanted to see for the sell. However, interestingly enough, I'm gonna delete this and we'll see if I still see that sell, okay? Because or do I still see that sell right now, right? Because like I said, the dollar is kind of giving that it can actually go up a little bit higher, right? That's what the dollar is actually giving, that it can actually go up a bit higher. So let me run the play real quick, and I'm not gonna go as slowly, right? That's October, top of June, July, August, all right. And then we can see, boom, we can see this was that right here. All right, cool. So interestingly enough, right, similar to, the opposite of the dollar, actually opposite of the dollar, we can see, oh, these lines want to act brand new. You guys will notice I don't just use horizontal lines, right? You guys will notice I use the vertical lines too. I think that time is just as important as price. And I think that when being a primarily technical analysis trader, I think that is very important to be able to understand the importance of time. Because when you can understand that importance of time, oh yeah, it makes you in alignment with fundamentals without even understanding fundamentals, right? But on the dollar, we saw that there was an institutional sell before a buy right here in May, and when we go to Euro USD in that May time, we can see. Let's see. We can see. In May, we can see more of an institutional buy up here, right? More of an institutional buy up before the sell-off, right? So on the other one, we saw a sell to a buy, and here we see a buy, and then we saw a sell-off all of the third quarter, okay? That's because, of course, Euro USD runs inverse to the dollar, right? And then, of course, all fourth quarter, what did we see? We saw bullishness all fourth quarter. Bet, same thing as the dollar. I don't got to think too hard about this. Also, we can see that same thing. Euro USD broke lows that we haven't broken since 2016, right? 2020, right? 2015, right? We broke those lows. And the move that broke those lows was from right here, right? That was the sell-off, right? So interesting, right? They bought up to these previous lows over here, right? These important areas, and then boom, they went ahead and sold off. So this is, the way it looks to me, it looks like we're coming up. We're going to take these. I'm just going to be honest. So definitely still see bullishness on the euro. Like the reason I say that is because I just don't think they come this far to leave highs like this intact, right? I don't think they come this far to leave those highs intact. So I think that's going to get ran. You can see this very strong bullish candle we had last week, and it's just been massively bullish since October, literally just bullish, 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 bullish. And the euro also just announced that they're going to be continuing to fight against inflation, everything like that. Okay, so I think we're going to continue higher on the euro. I have my eyes on this, this institutional buy that went down over here, that institutional candle. So that's at like $1.09, right? That's like $1.09, and we're at $1.06 right now. So what's that? 300 pips, right? Like 300 pips to the upside. And then looking to see her come down. So looking at like on a monthly level, I wouldn't be surprised to see dollar go ahead and go bearish for a little bit the beginning of January. See these inverse pairs like the euro gold continue higher going into January, and then mid-January we see them reach these highs, or we see the dollar reach that low we were talking about at 103.7, and we start to go ahead and see that turnaround, right? All of these things, just like Mario said in the chat, the excuse for a lot of these things to happen is gonna be news, right? So I'm giving the the potential, right? Yeah, I'm giving the potential of what it is that could happen technically, but the news is going to be the excuse for those things to happen. You feel me? So looking at Euro USD, I would like to see. I would like to see them come back into this buy, I guess, that I took here. And I'll delete this now that this move has already played out. But yeah, I'm probably not going to trade until Tuesday. So just between now and Tuesday, looking to see them come back down into this, right? Come back down into this. And yeah, and go ahead and show me some more. Let me go ahead and draw it out for you, right? So this is a higher high, right? So I want to see them come down and give a higher low, right? And then I will execute somewhere in here for that move up for the buy, right? That's what I'm going to be looking for. On some real snaky stuff, I could see them coming all the way down here, okay? But they wouldn't close down there. This would just be a wick, right? They would still close higher, because if they close lower, that would be a break of structure. So I don't think that's what would happen. I think worst case scenario, if it comes way down, like maybe down to there, right? Maybe down to there, just like that. And then maybe it's just a wick, right? Maybe it's just a wick down into that. And then we see the market go ahead and move higher into that zone, and then we see some fall off like that. Okay. So that's what I'm looking to potentially see on Euro USD. See some continuations higher. Again, today is Monday. US dollar has everything is literally has a holiday. So I wouldn't be begging for a trade, or just searching for a trade. USD CAD is a holiday, but similar to the dollar, I think USD CAD has lower to go, because USD CAD is going to go with the dollar, and you can see that I've marked off these equal bottoms here, which is signs of stop losses below that area, sell limits, right? Sell stops below that order, below that zone. So definitely going to be seeing USD CAD gain a lot of strength this week, and honestly to the downside is what I would like to see. And we can see that also on Friday, we have a lot of CAD news as well, right? And I don't like to just check Forex Factory, because Forex Factory be lying. Love you, Forex Factory, but you're not paying me to advertise, so I'm gonna keep it real. You be missing news days. So I like to use investing.com as well. Hit the filters button, click the 3 stars for important news, and I like to check those as well, right? And so we can see all the holidays. Now, look, I literally, I'd be trying to defend the euro, bro, but they just make it so obvious. So I'll literally show you guys, right? Here, you see there's no euro news. I don't see any euro news, right? But when I look at investing.com, we have euro news coming on Monday. Look at that. I guess might be trading today. We got euro news dropping at 3:55 a.m. today. So that is that's interesting. So I'll take a little bit longer look at euro. We have Chinese news dropping at 8:45 tomorrow night, and I actually just learned that Chinese news affects a lot of those cross pairs, those right? I think Chinese news affects a lot of those cross pairs, like the Australian facts, like the Australian excuse me, guys, the New Zealand dollar, right? Like a lot of those get affected by the Chinese. Oh yeah, I got nothing but gems all 2023, no kizzy. And the recording for this will be on YouTube, right? So you guys can get the recording on YouTube. But yeah, like, you know, Tuesday again, bro. We got we got double Euro news on Tuesday and GBP news. Like, yeah, we can't even rely on Forex Factory this week at all. They're wilding, right? They're absolutely wilding. Okay, so yeah, we got GBP news this week. We got Euro news this week. More GBP news on Thursday. So I'm gonna take a look at GU. I'm not gonna lie, GU. I don't know, bro. I really am not trying to like. I'm really not trying to like do them dirty right now. But like they're really not. They're not making it easy for me. They're really not making it easy. Okay. But yeah. So that's what they got going on, man. So let's take our behinds over to GU. Oh, I will check out UJ as well. Just to cause you know your boy, me and UJ, we've been having a nice conversation. I'ma just be real. We've been having a nice conversation. I had my biggest trading day yet. Off this sell on UJ. So we'll take a look at UJ and GU. And then I'll take a touch on indices and we'll wrap up, okay? But USD CAD bearish, Euro USD bullish, GBP USD probably gonna be the similar thing, right? Probably gonna be a similar thing. So let's go ahead and pull out on GU. Let's check out the daily on GU. Whew! I ain't gonna lie, man. We doing a little work right now, but it's okay. Top of the year and top of the month, I gotta do some work. Gotta touch multiple charts. Gotta do a lot of back testing. Like I'm letting y'all know, man, you have to back test, dude. Like you have to. Like I'm glad y'all on here with me, but like real talk, you gonna learn the most from spending that time on the charts. Really all I want to do is just provide that, you know, insight on fundamentals and bias and higher time frame perspective. Just give you guys confidence and believing in yourself because you see how often I'm able to call the market. That's all I want to really do. But at the end of the day, you're gonna get the most from back testing and being on the charts. You yourself or hopping on with the squad and, you know, back testing that way. Okay, now similar thing on GU, right? Of course, y'all already know how I'm gonna get down. I'm gonna bust out my vertical lines. October, beginning of October was right here. We can see the end of June was right here. I'm ready to take a flight, man. I'm being so disciplined right now. I am tired. I'm ready to leave. All right. I just said that because the last time I traveled was in damn near in July, the last time I left the country. So I'm itching. But all right, cool. So same thing here, right? Same thing here. We can see that we got institutional price, price manipulation, price movement here. We can see a lot of that came in. Institutional move here that took the sell off. But this happened, looks like this happened in August. It did happen up earlier here, but like right here, end of June as well. But yeah, it's very clear to see, right? The market was gone ahead and pushed up, right? Good old buy. If I put this on the monthly candle, you'll be able to see this is an engulfing candle on a higher time frame, okay? I can just see it because I know massive bullishness after this bearish, that was institutional buy up, right? So they pulled back up, got way better sell positions, came back into this previous support, right? And then literally sold off, wicked the all-time lows, right? GU's never been this low before, right? It's never been this low before, right? So it came down, wicked down there, and now we are pulling back, all right? And so interestingly enough, this again, same thing, right? Top of the year, right? Top of the year, January, top of the year of there. We came down, created lows down there, and look at that, right? We came up, and I'll delete the vertical lines now. I don't like to keep my chart too messy, right? And if you look at what, how it went down, okay? Right? As we saw, right? She went ahead all year 2020 drop. All year January it fell until when? The fourth quarter. And then we got massive institutional, right? Engulfing candles. Y'all don't see these? Y'all don't see that? Engulfing, that's an engulfing buy, right? Engulfing, right? Buy, right? The market only got up here because it was, I mean, it was manipulated. This is not normal price action. This is not structured price action, right? This is engulfing candle, and expansion. And expansion into what? Into the 50%. It hit the 50%, right? Right here, right? Boom. Hit the 50%, wicked away, right? Came down, and now they just pulled up to that 62 that I talked about earlier. And literally, look at how perfect the wick was. I didn't know that was gonna be there, right? But you can see what happened, right? It's just the way it went down. 62, 61, whatever you want to do. You can do 61.8, right? Who cares, right? But you can see that it came up to that perfectly up into that area. Also, right? Also, yeah, man, getting that bounce back, man. All right. Also, okay. This that instant, this that order block I was talking about. If I went on a higher time frame, now I feel like I have to do it. Oh, you ain't even gonna see it there. Let me see. Probably 2 weeks. Let's do a little chart manipulation. I gotta do too much work. I ain't gonna do it. But it's there. Just trust me. Right? And so, yeah, literally perfect zone that they pulled up to. So now on GU, you know what I want to see? I want to start seeing these breaker structures. Right? I want to start seeing these breaker structures. If any of these things is going to move first, it's looking very GU. Right? It's looking very GU. On the daily time frame, we saw GU come and take these lows, right? They took the lows for the whole month of December, right? So boom, we see December opened up. We moved up higher. Middle of December, institutional sell down, right? And swept down into these areas. Now, I'm going to just be honest. I'm not like, because of what I just said about the dollar, Lamario, I don't see this. I don't see this going, I don't see this dropping just yet. It's not, I don't think they're ready yet. I don't think they're ready yet, right? They came up, we broke these highs here, closed above these highs, right? The market closed above these highs over here. And then this right here, this is manipulation. That was a massive institutional candle to get us down into this area. Why? Well, we know that whenever they do that, it's not because they care about the fate of humanity or anything. It's so that they can get better prices on what? On the sell, right? And from I guess, from that, they broke these highs over here. You don't even have to pay attention to my fib too much. I just put that there for me. But yeah, I think that this is a very significant way that the market was pushed down. It looks very manipulated, very manipulated to me. And honestly, the market is still forming higher highs and higher lows on that higher time frame. So yeah, it gives trick to me, right? It gives trick. And it gives that the market can move higher. Okay. So yeah, that's what I'm going to pay attention this week. I'm going to pay attention. But at the end of the day, the bias that I want you guys to take from this is that I can see the dollar going lower. Okay. If not, maybe I'll update you guys, like I'll let you know, whatever the case is. But I mean, you'll see it. I mean, I'm just going to be honest. You'll see it. Like, the only thing that would invalidate me feeling that way is if the dollar broke above 104.25, right? Like, if the dollar were to just Tuesday and Wednesday type of time, like just Tuesday, just like literally just like, if this happens Monday and Tuesday, then I'm invalidated. Forget anything I said today. But right now, I'm just gonna be honest. If they do anything like this, I'm looking for that. If they do anything like this, boom, I'm still looking for that, and so that's all I can really say. Okay, as far as the dollar goes, so yeah, Euro USD, yeah, so Euro you see a lot of liquidity towards the upside on dollar or GU, which one we was talking about, right now. The funny thing is, guys, like, you're gonna see we're all gonna see liquidity on both sides of the market. Just remember, the question is always, what side are they gonna take first? You get what I'm saying? There's liquidity on both sides because there's always somebody putting somebody always has a buy up here and somebody always is gonna have a sell down here. I mean, it's always gonna happen. So what the muscle I've learned to develop is using your bias to identify what is the roadmap we're gonna take. Remember, I told you guys before, it's like if you're gonna go pick up your friends, right? What is the route that you're gonna take? You're gonna take the easiest route, right? If you're here and your friends are here, and your destination is here, and you have a friend here, and you have a friend here, right? You're not gonna drive and go pick up this friend, then come back and pick up this friend, then go there. You understand? You're gonna pick up this friend, and then you're gonna come back, and you're gonna pick up this friend, and then you're gonna go to your destination. And that's how you wanna understand liquidity, right? Liquidity is your friends, right? Liquidity, your trade, or your bias, right? And then the liquidity is where is the market going to go before it gets to your overall destination. So that's why I just ran you guys through the way that I look at the market. I'm looking at the daily and the weekly on the dollar, and overall my destination is bullish, but what is the path that we would take to being bullish again? What is the path that we would take to getting higher? Well, the path that I see us taking is, yeah, we're going to go and grab that liquidity down, right? And then after we grab that liquidity down, then we're going to take that liquidity and we're going to ride it to take it up, and then we're going to create that structure, higher low, higher high, and then we're going to be gone. So QB could see a lot of the liquidity to the upside, and Lamario can see a whole bunch of liquidity to the downside. But if we all overall believe that it is gonna go down, that may be very true that there's liquidity to the downside, Lamario, but it would be very obvious for them to just go down, right? So at the end of the day, the first thing they have to do is what? Well, if we have, if we have trend lines over here, right? That's all liquidity, right? Anything that anywhere that people would put stop losses, stops, sell stops, buy stops, all of that is going to create liquidity in the market, because when somebody loses, somebody wins, right? So if we think that the GU is going to drop, okay, cool, we think GU is going to drop, but what's it going to pick up first? It's going to pick up some liquidity, then it's going to drop. You get what I'm saying? And so, or if I think it's going to go up, what is it going to do? It's going to pick up some liquidity, then it's going to go up. You feel me? So, that's the way, that's the way that we can be intricate about that. But I definitely, definitely want to allow the market to do what she won't do, or allow the market to show me what she wants to do, so that I can take my most confident trades this week. I'm just going to be honest. Like, here, one thing I'm going to give you guys, especially as you start to master your strategy or this strategy or whatever the case is just real life. Like, the whole point of your edge and your strategy is not to trade it every time that you see it. That's not going to be where the strength in your strategy comes from. You're going to see it over and over. Just because you see a setup doesn't mean you have to take a setup, right? I can show you guys so many setups on this thing that I didn't get to take, right? I mean, shoot, this NAS sell, I had this mapped out. I had this NAS sell mapped out since the first entry over here. And I didn't end up taking it, right? Not because I just was scared to take it. It just wasn't the trade I was going to take. I had the buy mapped out from the bottom, right? Like, I had the buy mapped out from down here. I did take the buy up, from the bottom, right? So it's just, you're going to develop the idea to take the trades that are that put you in the best situation. You feel me? But, other than that, the last thing I'm going to look at is UJ. Last thing what is this? What's this UJ? Did I have this marked up and not take this trade? I don't know. I don't feel like I took this trade. But why it looks so elite? Whatever. But yeah, so UJ, I think same thing. Okay, if bearish on the dollar, bearish on UJ. Okay, same act, same type of time. It's just a matter of seeing between today and going into Tuesday. How far up would we come before seeing that continuation, or is this the bottom? Is this the bottom, and then they're gonna start to move higher, right? But Tuesday and Thursday will show me that. As far as you're showing me right now, UJ. As far as you're showing me right now, let me stop real quick. On UJ, I feel like, let me actually put let me put that thing back real quick. Right, so on UJ, I actually have not. It still has not reached the targets that I really had set in place on this sell. Yeah, it's not. I see, UJ take, like, there's this liquidity here that's just so beautiful. I definitely see UJ at the least coming down back to 130 flat, at least, like, minimum. But at the end of the day, if I were to really pull this out to the weekly and show you guys where I'm looking for on UJ, it's down into here, 126. Seeing them come down into that. I mean, all of this is inefficient. I just couldn't imagine them. I mean, and that's my fault, but I just couldn't imagine them taking all of that, all at one time. But yeah, I mean, I think UJ has a ways down to go, and then she'll go ahead and take off again. Ironically enough, the bottom of this box I have here on UJ, if I actually draw this thing out all the way to the left, is a previous high over here. So I think I might have had it a little spot on with that area, and that's also the beginning of the chart from 2003, right? So a lot of confluence in that area. So I'm gonna stick with that, right? I think I want to see UJ come down to that 124, 128. And we'll see how she responds there. Welcome back, right? So we'll see how, she can get to that 124, 128 and see how she responds there. But I definitely, what I would want this to look like is no close below this. Like, I don't want to see it close below that. I'd like to see her close above that, and we just see a wick there on like a Wednesday or something, like a Tuesday or Wednesday. They just wick into that and then come back and we start to form, those moves higher. You get what I'm saying? So that's kind of the idea for the first, just going into this first week and this first month of the year. That's kind of my thoughts. That's kind of where my head is at, where my eyes are at. I do want to just go ahead and put my eyes on EURUSD, since we do have no news dropping in 4 hours. And let me just take a look real quick, and then we'll wrap up in the next 10 minutes. But just taking a look at that Euro news that's supposed to drop. German employment change drops today, and German CPI drops tomorrow. Oh no, so German PMI drops today from December, and it's forecasted to come out at 47.4. So it's forecasted to actually come out at the same place that it was at before. But if it comes out higher, that would be, right? If it comes out higher, that's actually not good for the currency. Like, I really want y'all to understand this one thing before we hop off, is right now everything is backwards. Everything that's good for the currency is actually bad for the currency. And I'm going to explain, because right now we're fighting inflation. So we don't actually want the economy to be performing at its best right now. Does that make sense? It's very ironic, but because we're fighting inflation, what causes the currency to go up in value is the weakening of the economy. It's wild, right? So that means that if PMI comes out higher, that's good for the economy, but that's bad for the currency, right? So, if this PMI comes out and it's higher than 47.4, I would anticipate seeing Euro USD take a spike up and then go lower, or but I'd expect that to affect it negatively on the chart, even though the PMI would show that it was green. And that's just what I've noticed. All right, that's just what I've noticed. So definitely, if we see that thing come out a bit negative, then that means that the changes that they're making to help the currency are working, which would cause the currency to go up in value, especially versus the US dollar, especially on a holiday for the US dollar versus a holiday for the euro, right? So definitely we'll be paying attention to that. Let me actually look at something real quick. Where was the open of the day? The open of the day was right here. That was the open of the day and the week. So I'll put that on here, weekly open. I mean, that's also the monthly open whole time. So we'll have our eyes on that all month. Right? And then that's where the week opened. It's been a couple hours. Ain't been nothing crazy. Okay. So I would definitely not be surprised to see her, excuse me, fall. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. To see her fall. As we can see, we have a break of structure here already, right? We got a lower low here, pulled back into the weekly open, which is, I mean, I'm gonna just be honest. This is the type of thing that I would sell. Like this is the type of thing that would be, you know, a reversal sell setup to me. You know, is that I see the break of structure happen. I already told you guys on a higher time frame I was expecting sells, you know, from here on Euro USD. Why, Maverick? Why were you expecting sells from here? Well, it's because this big behind candle that happened over here, I was expecting to see them come up into that, right? And you can kind of see, boom, this is that they came above the discount area. They've come above that. So I was looking to see a sell entry here with my stop losses above that, you know, that exciting area going on up there. So yeah, I found this to be a very significant area. But I want the buys, right? I want the buys. So what I'm gonna look to see is if I'm right on these sells, right? Is to see if I'm right on these sells going into London session, New York session. I might be up for London. I don't know. I'm low key sleepy, so probably actually won't be up for London. But I'll be up for New York. And if during London they actually do go ahead and give this sell that I'm talking about, then they kind of, you know, they making me feel right, right? They making me feel right about my bias for the buy, because I would expect, excuse me, London session to go ahead and show that sell off, and then see the reversal going into, you know, New York session. Overall, our, you know, the bias that we have is that Euro USD is going to you know, go higher for a good, you know, a week, 2 weeks, whatever the case is. So that means that I would personally want to see today or the beginning of Tuesday start off with some sell-offs. You feel me? You know, like I said, I mean, we can't go in the direction at the beginning of the week. So that's kind of what, you know, I would expect from Euro USD, is to see the week start off with some sell-offs, especially as they're hitting the weekly open right here. And so if we do see those sell-offs, I'll be looking to see how far down do we go, where do we go down to, and where can we get, you know, potential reversals, you know, on that. Okay, so if anybody is looking at these sells, what's that, a 10 pip stop loss if you want it to be daring. All right, 10 pip stop. All right, 10 pip stop. And I'll leave this on my chart so I see if this pans out this way or not. Right? And just aiming for 1 to 3, honestly. Like, not even being greedy, just aiming for the 1 to 3. Just take the 1 to 3. And just let that be that. Anybody who does actually go for that. But I'm going to what I want to see is I want to see them come down. Let's see, Maverick. The low of last week. What was the low of last week? This was the low of last week. Okay. And this was the move that broke the highs. Oh, yeah. Okay, great. All right, cool. All right. So I would love to see Euro USD come down into here. All right, come down into you know, that 62.72 from that low of last week that broke the highs, and participate in that. That's what I would like to see. This is interesting though. Interesting, very interesting. Yeah, very interesting, because it's funny that, like, when the market came up here, this drop was well over that 50%, pulled into that into this institutional candle, and then took off right from there. So those are things that kind of show me signs that maybe it won't actually come that low, right? Maybe it won't actually come that low. But that's the reason that I'm glad I don't have to make decisions on a Sunday. I just have to pick my bias on a Sunday, let the market show its hand, and then execute on Tuesday when I have the highest probability for my trade, right? So yeah, man, that's what we looking at on Euro USD, and, you know, the dollars and everything like that. And last but not least, to wrap us up, you know, as far as these indices go, well, given that I see the dollar, potentially going lower, seeing the indices go higher would clearly line up with that, right? Just to start off the month. But on some real stuff, like on a technical level, on a fundamental level, I've been watching Bloomberg. Like I've been having Bloomberg just playing on my TV, and that's an investing channel. Like they do what I'm doing right now, but all day long, literally all day long. I'm like, wow, I could really be on TV. But at the end of the day, they are, they're talking about how horrible the market is doing right now. We just came out of the worst winter of stocks or something, right? Like they're talking so negatively, and when they talk like that, man, look, observe the masses and do the opposite. You feel me? Observe the masses and do the opposite. So definitely wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of bullishness. But I'm just gonna be honest with you. All of these, I'm expecting, like, as the year goes on, I'm expecting it's gonna get a lot worse. I expect to see Nasdaq under 10,000. You feel me? Seeing SPX back under 3,500, back under 3,000, right? Like that type of time, like real crazy stuff. But as you can see, I have this right here as my kill zone on NAS, which would be similar on the other indices. Seeing them pull back. And let me actually show you guys what it is that I see. Let me go back to the daily real quick. Okay. Go back to the daily real quick. So you can see that NAS has been in a downtrend, right? We've been OD in a downtrend, all right? Even if I go out to the weekly, all right? Since the beginning of this whole year, right? Downtrend the whole year. Okay. Excuse me. And so, I'm paying attention to this high that was at the beginning of COVID, right? At the beginning of COVID, you see this beautiful institutional candle, right? I know y'all see this beautiful institutional candle. Beautiful, just like drop, just sell off. They just didn't care, right? And that was at the beginning of COVID. That was February 2020. Right, February 2020, everything went to trash, right? Institutional sell-off before what? Massive buying. It's not a coincidence, guys, right? So going back to the whole mitigation conversation, this is that area, right, where we have an institutional candle, and I expect them to mitigate back to that level before they continue higher, right? So with that being said, that's kind of my target on indices, is seeing them come lower there. And if I go down to the daily, we've been in a downtrend for a year now, and it's not getting any sweeter, right? We can see right here that we did kind of get, we got a little bit of a higher high here, right? A little bit of a higher high action, but we did come down and broke these lows here, right? Broke those lows, gave a lower high, lower low, lower high, and I'm on the daily right now, right? So we're giving that, push down, but I would like to see them pull back up, which aligns with what we're saying about how the dollar can go this month and everything like that. I would like to see them pull back into this move, right? Into this selling pressure that has happened since all December, right? So this is the whole month of December right here. This was the high of December. This was the low of December, right? So I would love to see them come back into the 50% of December, which also happens to be the previous lows over here, right? You can see those were lows at one point, right? So there was liquidity under here. There were stop losses there. There were sell limits, right? Sell stops, all kind of action. They came down. They took that, right? They came down and took that, closed below this low over here. If that would have been a wick, then I would expect them to continue to move higher, but they didn't. They gave a lower low, and they gave a lower high, then they gave a lower low, and so now I expect manipulation. And we can see on a daily time frame what happened on Friday, right? On Thursday, I'm sorry, guess what? They came in with a institutional buy at the bottom below the low, right? So this is that puzzle pieces matching the puzzle pieces, right? So if they buy here, why would they buy here, Maverick? They would buy here so that they can get better entries on the sell, because my overall bias is the sell. I just showed you the institutional reason that we would go lower for the mitigation on a higher time frame. I'm getting advanced. We deep into this thing now, right? So it's like at the end of the day, we get this engulfing candle at the bottom. Well, why would they do that? So they can get better entries on the sell. Where would they want to sell? Well, I really personally wouldn't want to sell anything that wasn't at least 50% off. So they would want to sell above that 50%, right? So I'm targeting that 62.71 pull back above that 50%, and that would be my kill zone on indices for the sells. So everything in between, I'm not going to be surprised this week if we open up with bullishness on indices. Any pullbacks into this bullishness, any pullbacks below the weekly open for this week, I'm buying indices, right? And I'm buying them up to that area. And you know, as we can see over here, it's liquidity over here. It's all type of reasons. Okay, it's all type of reasons. So we got liquidity up there. So that's what I see on these indices, man. You know, similar thing for US30, also broke structure. Wouldn't be surprised. I would like to see them come back into 3,400 flat, pretty much on indices. And yeah, and that, you know, same thing on SPX 500. It literally looks beautiful, honestly, right? It literally looks beautiful. Break of structure, literally break a structure right here. Mass imbalance, right? Price imbalance here. Would love to see them pull back up into that imbalance and take that out. Once we pull back up into that, I'm selling, right? I'm selling from here as long as price structure, you know. And what does it look like? If, you know, when it looks the way I want it to look, it's when they come up into that and then they boom, break structure, turn around. I'm selling here, right? You don't have to sell here. I might sell there, I might sell here, right? But you don't have to sell there. You don't have to catch that, right? You could catch this and it's still gonna be astronomically wild, right? For you to have caught that type of an entry, right? But that's what I see on these different indices, and the dollar. Okay, so appreciate you guys hopping on here. Appreciate you guys. It's time. Let me check the chats one last time. Yo, that's love, man. Congrats on that 3 figures, man. But you know, you really elite with the entry. I ain't gonna lie, Dusty. You elite with the entry. So shout out to you, Queen. But you know, we'll be on here next